Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this episode on Hiie, Somatics, which is a YouTube channel dedicated to the wisdom of the moving, sensitive, and sensual body. My name is Hiie Salma. I'm a somatic movement educator and an author and a performer. And today we have a very special guest, one of my dear teachers, Winalee Zeeb, with whom I did my white belt many years ago in 2010. And so I knew the minute Winalee walked into the room that there's something very special and heartful about this person. And so I was right about that. So you all feel very, it's a special moment to have Winalee here on this channel. So enjoy that. So Winalee is a teacher of the Nia Dance technique, which we'll talk about also. She can tell us what that is. And she also teaches yoga and melt and is also a professional singer. And Winalee, my first question to you is about your life in movement. The topic for this episode, the bigger topic, is progress and advancement and how we progress with the movement practices that we have in our lives. But tell us a little bit about how you found the somatic practices that you teach, and why is it that you are teaching the things that you teach today?
I would be happy to, and thank you so much for inviting me. I'm thrilled to be here, and hello to all. I have my earliest memory in movement, actually in my truth of truths, is when I was a baby. And my mom had me on a kickboard, so this was my entrance into form, into soma, here to remember. And my mom had her arms around me and she was rocking me in the water, and I love water. This used to be a scuba business. And it is a cellular memory for me to sense the sun shining on me, to sense the love from my mother, to feel the kickboard underneath me, and my little infant body flopping around on the board, and the bliss that I was here to remember. That's my earliest somatic memory. And giggling on the kickboard and feeling that laser love beam from my mama's eyes and her heart. And that for me seeded Heart Dance. This is my business now. And I went on a journey of remembering. And I went on a journey of believing that there was a way to move when I was young. I wasn't very adept at sports. I was always like, no, we don't want her on our team, we'll lose. So I had that experience, and so I was shy and I backed off, but I took dance lessons. And in dance lessons, I felt differently, and there was a way, and I learned how to do it right. And I really felt and believed that was the way for me. And I love dance. I love all dance forms. And yet, my body hurt, even young. And I pushed myself past it. I wanted to form. And how I moved and how I did that had to be right. And do it right. I had that mindset going in. So my mental tape was not in alignment with the harmony of my heart that I felt in that giggling flow on the kickboard of love with my mama. So fast forward, after I married Ron, my beloved, I started to teach Jackie Sorensen aerobics. And I loved it, and I had a whole lot of fun, again, form. And I was not paying attention to my body, my knees saying, help me, please, help me. I had big aerobic shoes on, I was doing high knee kicks, and my knees, and I was on cement floors, help me, stop please. And I didn't listen. And so in one class, poof, plica tissue had formed on the side of my knee. It snapped, hit the back of my kneecap, went right down to the floor. Had to have surgery on both knees. There enters a new way of being. I knew that I knew. Karen Drucker has a song, I don't know, but I know that I know that I know. I need to remember that I know, 'cause I know I always know. And I knew that when I was doing that on cement, my knees were saying, stop, please. So I learned. And at that point, that was my entrance into Nia. Nia. Made my knee say ah. Get my Nia interpretation of what Nia means. After the surgery, I recall sitting in my surgeon's office, sitting there with my hands on both knees saying, I apologize. I promise to you, I will listen to you and I will sense your voice now. I appreciate the voice of pain. The voice of pain is guiding me to choose pleasure and to pay attention and deeply listen to the wisdom within me, not outside of me, within me. So that was my corner turn. And that was before I met Nia. I taught aerobics still, but I taught it differently. And then I was at a huge fitness conference for IDEA in Vegas. And I thought I was going to find, it was the year that step aerobics was introduced. And I thought, this is it. This is going to be my elixir, as I was a little done with what I was teaching. And I took step and my knees said, So I left. I went back to my room crying, actually, and my husband was there. It was in Las Vegas, and he goes, honey, go back. There's something there for you. He put his hands on my shoulders. He pushed me out the door, and he shut the door, and I was crying. And I went back, and I saw this big poster board. It was yellow. This was 1991. Big yellow poster board that said, Body, Mind, Spirit Workout, and it had the course code. Didn't say Nia, didn't say Debbie and Carlos Rosas. That's all it said. And it just went, body, mind, spirit. And in 1991, that wasn't really a buzzword. And so I felt this pull from my heart. I got a ticket, I went, I'm a front row girl. I was sitting in the front row of this big conference room, and I will never forget the moment my spirit could feel Debbie and Carlos enter the room. And I turned my head. I didn't even know who was teaching. I saw them walk in, and Debbie had this vest on that was flowing, and she was walking like this, and Carlos was walking in this total flow motion manner. And every part of me was laser focused. I want what they're having. I just forgot. I'm here to remember. And I'm a water baby, and that's flow motion. And so that first Nia class, I will never forget. I bawled through the whole thing. I was sharing. Debbie had us take our shoes off, our first move to Enigma. I remember the music, 1991 of July, breath in, breath out, and we moved our spine and undulated our spine, and I went, I was in the front row, and I wept the whole time. I wept, and I let myself cry, and I let myself feel everything in my soul and all my tissues that was remembering. And I just let my tears flow. It was 2 hours. I cried through the whole thing, and then I ran to the information table to get the training information. It was July of 91. In October was their next white belt, and I was there, and that's it. And the rest is history. And I love sharing it. I love sharing the trainings. I love my constant learning. and my journey of holistic wellness, and my forgetting, my remembering, my forgetting, my remembering, and continuing to stay engaged, and also very compassionate with myself based on everything else in my life, and really having my circle support me where I go to when I really need to be uplifted and have that inspiration so that I may start climbing again, but also I always give myself time when I need that time. And that's been a real treasure for me. And so my Nia journey, starting in 1991 and now, oh my gosh, 2025, are you kidding me? It all seems like the blip. And it's just been a joy, a sheer joy. And for me, that piece that I was missing in all the movement programs I was drawn to teach, which doesn't necessarily mean it's a truth about any of them, any of the dance forms. It was me. And I bought into that I had to look a certain way. And that movement had to be precise and exact. And even though my body could have been saying, Winalee, stop, no, Winalee, no, sit in a chair right now. And Nia, which made my knees say my knees have been great ever since. What the surgeon told me would happen to me when I was la 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 la. I'm now 67, and that was when I was in my 20s. I see him in the community every few years, and this is what I do. Hi, how you doing? What's happening? I go down to the floor and back up, and he just stands there and he says, that can't happen. Oh, how's your wife doing? I just changed the subject because that's his viewpoint. That's his belief and his paradigm, and it's not mine. I know I have healed my knees. I know when they need me to pay attention, I listen and I pull back and I spring load and I go back to flow.
Yes. Oh, Winalee, this is so beautiful, and I hope you readers, listeners, viewers, listeners, you notice how expressive Winalee also is with her wisdom. So thank you for all of this. Now, Winalee, maybe some of the listeners don't know what Nia is. We both teach it and practice it and love it, but how would you describe it to people who might not know it?
Well, I love, and over the years, we've had many ways of describing Nia, now I am. And I love that definition, Nia, now I am, as what Nia's teachings brought me back to was deep listening in the now, in the moment, and making my conscious personal choices based on my now body, not yesterday's body, not an hour ago body, right now. And I needed that. Needed with Knee. I really needed that reminder. I love how it's also been referred to as neuromuscular integrative action, this whole holistic approach to wellness. It's not that I am more than a body, that I am a body, mind, emotion, spirit. And that wholeness of me is unique. It's unique every moment. And to have an expressive outlet where emotional body is welcomed. And to sense and feel and welcome all emotions are welcome here. They're energy in motion, as opposed to judging them and pretending. I bought into, when I taught before Nia, are you ready to have a good workout? Even though inside I could have been exhausted, I could have been sad, depressed. Let's do it. Isn't this great? I bought into That's what people wanted. And I remembered through Nia, authentic, real being with what I'm feeling to heal it. And to let that emotion roll and transform and flow and let go, hence the tears in my core. By moving my spine and breathing in that first Nia class, I had so much held in my tissues. It was profoundly healing for me. And I didn't need to know why. I just let myself feel it. And
Mhm.
that often happens. I teach at a club in Lansing. It's a big athletic club. And often people, I want to cry. Is that normal? This is an exercise class. It's completely normal. Okay. Then they'll let themselves, just knowing that by moving the spine and breathing and moving our core, issues in the tissues. So allow if you're comfortable with it. And if not, smaller movement will bring you back to center. So it's been a wonderful journey of truly welcoming different ways of explaining what Nia is based on the listener.
Mhm.
Right? Based on the fact the 9 movement forms, that sometimes that intrigues people. Tell me more about that. We have martial arts for precision, dance arts for emotional expression, and healing arts to really take us into the subtleties and be present with our now body so that we move in harmony with it. Oh, well, tell me more. Whatever is the tell me more
Mhm.
to the listener. There's just simply so many ways of having a conversation about what Nia is. And I love that no longer are we capital N, capital I, capital A. It's like yoga, Yoga, Nia, Nia.
Mhm.
Pilates, it's now becoming more known of, I know that's a fusion of some sort. I've heard about it, and that's really exciting to see happening.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you, Winalee. Now, you mentioned to us how you've had really a long and rich history with these practices and some other ones also. So we can segue into the theme of this episode, which is progress. So for you, you can address this question within the Nia practice also. What does progress for mean for you in your movement practices? Is it important? How do you approach it? What is it? Is it necessary to make progress?
Progress for me is sustaining full awareness and presence in the now. That's my progress. Do I do it all the time? And I've been on this journey for a long time. No, I'm human. I get pulled. And then I come back to my base. Go to your feet, Winalee. Ground yourself. Go to your heart. Go to your pelvis. Heel, heart, head, hands. Integrate my wholeness. What do I feel? Am I connecting to my breath? I go back. I go back to that process so that I stay present and I move in harmony with my now body. It's not about a show, it's not a performance. And even teaching a class, I'm modeling level 1. I'm modeling close to my core, um, core coming from my center when I need to. I'd sit in a chair if I need to sit in a chair. To really pay attention. No one else is going to do that but me. I call it Mia Nia. I need to pay attention, and that's been a major gift to me, and hence my healed knees. My knees are healthy and whole, and wow, I'm really grateful.
I mean, that's one way in which we can clearly measure progress in a way if we suffer from injuries and then thanks to the practice and our commitment to the practice we feel how our movements get better and the healing process happens. Now, Winnie, this is so interesting, your definition of what progress means to you. It's like awareness, more awareness, and really this commitment to listening. Let me tell you why I'm intrigued by this topic. Well, I sat down, I thought about this. I felt like, okay, in within each practice, a movement practice, there's a different way to measure what progress is and to have goals, for example. So, for example, if I have a strength training practice, I know that one way I can measure my progress is the heaviness of the weights with which I work, or the number of the repetitions, or the kinds of physical challenges that I give myself. Within different dance practices, again, technical skills of like, can I do this pirouette? Can I finish this choreographic sequence? How fast am I grasping these motions? Within yoga, I can also imagine progress, meaning, for example, can I do a handstand? Can I do a headstand? Can I move into this pose? Am I advancing with this practice? And so then I ask myself, but how about these movement bodily awareness based practices where, for example, there is not a very clear sense of right and wrong. You have your own timing. Move as you feel is good for you to move. There is no element of performance, like, oh, we have to master this so that we can be seen in front of an audience. So within this kind of body awareness practice, how do I know that I'm making progress? And is it important for me to know that I'm making progress? So this is kind of like the backstory for my interest in progress. I don't know if you have any comments about this,
Abs-
because I feel like
Absolutely.
progress within inside a body awareness practice is something else. And
Mm,
I feel like sometimes we need to explain this to our students also. I
yeah,
remember when I was teaching in New York years ago, I felt like, and it was also a different culture than a different time. People were less familiar with these kinds of somatic movement practices. And so I was teaching at a gym also, and people come with a certain expectation to these classes. And I felt like some of my students, like I had to explain to them that it's not just, that there is a way to measure how your artistic your artistry, your technique as a somatic practitioner also develops. So what do you think about
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, clearly in Nia, the 52 moves, they're foundational. And so one of the pieces when I feel that my awareness just I feel it like it got hooked, it got taken elsewhere, whether it's something in the family, whatever pulled me away and I've left the building. I go back, okay, heel lead. I go right back to my craft. I go back to foot technique. And sometimes I'll slow it down if I need to slow it down. And once, since I've been doing this since 1991, it doesn't take me long, but I model that and I also share it. My belief has changed so much, no more pretense. Whoa, I just left the building. Let me come home to my home. I need to slow this down. You keep going. And I model it. And that to me is progress, huge progress. And I also love modeling every body of work, these routines that we have in Nia, total different music scapes, different vibrational maps, play me different. I was telling Debbie yesterday, Debbie Rosas, the founder, that this latest body of work named Soar, I always know this, if there's a song, for whatever reason, I'm listening to the music, relaxed, alert, waiting, and there's something that's edgy for me. And it's not, I don't like it. It's something is edgy. And I know that's going to be my favorite song. I know it. They're always my best teacher. And sure enough, oh my gosh, I'm loving it. I'm having so much fun and I'm giggling. That's a win. That is a total progress win. Before, when I started with Nia, I don't like that routine. I don't like that. I went to preference. I don't like it. There was this push, this little edginess to it. So I just decided not to teach it because I didn't like it. And I made up a story that nobody else would. I was like so cute that I had that figured out. Guess what? Those routines, when I finally got them out and learned them and shared them, were everybody's favorites. And I had no story about, like, at the club I teach and at the wellness center I teach at, I thought I had a belief people, la, 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 wrong. No story. No story. That's progress. No story is huge progress. To just come in open, empty, excited to share. And then the other piece of progress is looking at the group and seeing that everyone is moving it their way. Everyone is moving at their right pace with their own emotional expression and their sound and their breath. That's a win. That's progress. So my taste and take and definition of progress has so shifted over the years. And when I first taught SOAR, I taught it last Saturday, and I had so much happening in my life at that moment, and calls before class. I said, I have no idea what's going to happen. I am overwhelmed right now, so we're going to go to our base, and we're going to listen to the music and dance to the music. There was no choreography there. There were no katas there, no sequences there. I free danced the whole time. There was just nothing available. And that's progress. That is such huge progress for me. I used to have a belief I couldn't take it to class until I had it mastered.
Yes.
And wow, we had a blast. I was transformed. I was back home in my home. And it was great.
Oh, I love this. I love the way in which you tell us how your views about what progress meant are different now. That it used to be, oh, I have to master this, or oh, I have to like this particular routine, or is this dance. Is there anything else that you can point
Yeah.
out? Oh, that was different. I used my view then was this, but now it's this.
The other piece is the new neuromuscular patterns, the new sequences that, whoa, like, where are my feet? Where are my hands? I know neuroplasticity. I am completely creating new pathways, and I get confused. I now, when I'm teaching those and sharing those, I giggle. And I know that's progress. Instead of a belief, I just model, oh my gosh, where are my hands? Where's my elbow? That there is new neural pathways that are being created. There are. And I model giggling with it. And therefore, everybody else does, instead of judging themselves that they can't get it. So I did that when I started. I wouldn't take some of the more complex steps in until I had them down. And then the students would expect that they would have them down. Now I just model, oh, okay. And let's go to our base again. And really having fun with, I don't get it, this, and calling it, this is a new to me skill. Let's do that again. Let's stay with that pattern longer until we all feel comfortable with it and get to know it. It'd be no different than if I met you, hi, Hiie, and I ask you no questions about who you are. And I just walked away. That deep connection of getting to know and celebrating those. Every body of work has so many new to me skills. Combinations of our 52 moves in different varying ways with different sound and sonic maps and rhythms and melodies. It's always new to me. It's never the same. Never. And that's why I can't imagine not sharing this, really. Yeah, I love it. It's always new to me. And that's progress.
That's
That's progress. It's not rote. It's not cookie cutter. It's not repeated the same way.
yes. And seeing and acknowledging newness, that's progress also because, wait a second, I had a question. Well, I love, by the way, how you were talking about progress also through the eyes of not only as a practitioner, but also as a teacher. Like, oh, I used to teach this way and now I teach differently. So that's important to keep in mind also, those of us who are educators. And Um, but the question I had was this one. Winalee, do you think it's important to think about progress? Is it important to have awareness of this question? Am I progressing? Because, for example, I can also imagine how some people would say, well, but a practice is something that we live with. It's like an accompaniment to life, and it's a big deal to commit to the practice and do the practice. So, in other words, I have my hour with movement or my 20 minutes with meditation or whatever it is. And so that's good enough. I don't need to necessarily have these goals and awareness about progress. Do you think it's important to monitor this word progress in our movement and see how it has these different shapes and different meanings?
I love Caroline Colas, my dear buddy in New York City, introduced me to the Positive Psychology Whole Being Institute. And I've been involved with that ever since, and I love it. And what that brought me with my Nia practice is this spiral, this upward spiral.
Mhm.
Absolutely, progress is important. Yes. And yet, just like Nia, every move, now I am in A stance, and my A stance with pelvic circle. It's unique to me. It's my timing. It's my now body sway. And I'm in charge of that. And so, as far as what's important to me, learning the 52 moves for our practice, yes, I want to make sure that with a heel lead, I am leading with my heel and rolling through the foot. The moves are designed with our body's design. So that is a definite practice so that I keep checking in with my base, my foot techniques, my upper extremity techniques, my core techniques. So I'm paying attention and I don't allow wherever I'm at in that moment to take me off the practice of the 52 moves, so I'm moving safely. Does that make sense to you of how I'm speaking this? And so progress absolutely is very important, yet what I'm sharing with that progress lens, this upward spiral, is what is meaningful to me. That's where the lens is unique to each individual, each I. What is it that I value? Why am I here? That's my progress lens. Besides moving safely and grounded and connected to the earth and breathing with the movement and moving my 52 moves, what is it that is uplifting to me? What is it that's deeply meaningful to me? When I connect to that, look out. And it's not that it's the same for anyone else in the room. It's unique to each one of us. And when I stay sustained to my awareness and to my 52 moves and to being present with me and who I'm with, it's powerful.
Winalee, can you give us an example? This is one of the moments earlier you said, whatever the tell me more is, that's what I use to describe what Nia is. So this is a moment of tell us more. Do you have an example of a recent experience or not so recent experience with this uplifting and deeply meaningful element from a classroom?
Oh, yeah. This we were speaking. He and I met before this call, and we're speaking to COVID and what I call the global experience. I don't like to give credit to a virus, so I call it the global experience. And then I felt like we all got sent to our rooms to learn how to be nice. And then we all went out of our houses, and then we got sent back again because we forgot to. That's what I call it. So in positive psychology, I have a new book sitting right here. This is one of my teachers, Maria Serra. I'm going to call her out, man. And this is her new book called The Generous Exchange.
Wow, okay.
And for me, she is, and for loving our emotional body and being in truth with everything we feel. She spent years being a counselor for terminally ill children with cancer. Huh. And of course, was with their families. And this took her down the positive psychology path, and now she's on that speaker circuit. And this is about, she has this 30-day practice of seeing the beauty. And she gives 3 modes of seeing beauty in the world: natural beauty, nature, flowers. It's springtime in my climate anyway. Um, moral beauty, where you see kindness in the world. And then excellence, beauty and excellence, mastery. And I'll tell you what, every single Nia class, I see all 3 modes of beauty over and over and over again. The community, the connective tissue that brings us all together, the people that don't even understand what the class is and was, but what just happened to me? I don't know what this is, but I feel so different and I just want to cry, and is that okay? Beauty. The beauty of wholeness, the beauty of truth, the beauty of being real with myself and with another. And even say, I want to cry. Is it okay that I cry? Yes, absolutely. Okay. And holding each other, coming out of this global experience that I call it. And that one mode that she calls a beauty, moral beauty, to really pay attention, seeing kindness in the world. And where our attention goes, grows. And instead of seeing darkness, now I see the beauty. I see the beauty in someone holding another. I focus on the bliss of that beauty as opposed to fear. And so for me, this weaving in from the field of positive psychology, which is Nia, it's simply other conduits and voices and authors and scholars, and it's current psychology now, really going to positive psychology to coach and help people heal. And that's to feel to heal and to pay attention to what inspires you. That's that uplifting spiral up. And that's what gets my heart just eager to share.
Yes, as I was listening to this very amazing response, I was also realizing that, one reason why I love Nia and these somatic practices is that it was really an education in development, in personal development and growth also. So because many of the elements that you have pointed out are really not the ways in which we think about progress, traditionally speaking, in a movement class, but it's almost like when we connect to these practices in a deep way, our understanding of what is beauty, what is connection, what these, it's like we revise them through movement and we develop.
Absolutely. That's the upward spiral, and it's unique to all of us. And that's what I love. The door is open. Nia is, it's everybody is welcome. All bodies are welcome.
Yes.
That is so important to me.
Yes.
So meaningful to me. And whatever, on a mat, in a chair, it's always, even closing their eyes and meditating and seeing themselves movement is profoundly powerful.
One reason again why I love Nia and these somatic practices is that they meet us where we are at. And so it's like, okay, if you feel like this now, or you have an injury, or you have, I don't know, a grief experience, or you're just tired, or you're new to this, it's like that's the starting, but like the practice comes to like care, takes care of you at this moment, whereas some other practices might not maybe be so immediately there for the particular instance, the now experience that we're having. Winalee, I wanted to ask you this also. Where was I going with this? Oh, I feel like we have to tell the viewers also who might not be very familiar with the NIA educational system that there are also very clear ways in which the practice maps the progress for the teacher or for the practitioner also, meaning there's a belt system, and then as you mentioned also we have routines, and so there's this body, so which means choreography and music is like a body of work created for the teachers to learn and share with the students. So that's one thing I really love about this practice also, that there are so many different ways in which I as a teacher can grow or progress with these belt systems and the routines and the other elements. I don't know if you want to say something about that too. I will say something before you can even. I wanted to say that Winalee has the highest, speaking about the belt system, so the certification and the advancement in the Nia world. Winalee has the highest degree. She's the second degree black belt. So I don't know if you want to tell us something about the different, how you have progressed through the belts also.
Well, what I love, love, love learning. Sign me up. I'm just a lifelong learner, and I love that. I love that we start with body and we start with a white belt to really get to know the 52 moves, what's behind it. There's 13 principles. I love the number 13. I love the specificity of that and how they all build on each other. And then when you're ready, and I love that that has also been a part of our journey in Nia for progress, is that I choose when I choose to go to the next level. It could be years apart. It could be right after.
Mhm.
They used to say a year apart, but they don't do that anymore. They meaning Debbie now. And so it's all self-choice. So choose sensation. It's up to each person. And it's not about, there's no test, so you don't have to have the principles memorized to go to the next level. So from white, being very body-centered, art of sensation, to communication, to blue belt, to these tools now that clarify and deepen and enhance relationship with art of sensation and life.
Yes.
Sign me up for that. And then from blue, about communication, art of perception, that's brown belt, and it's all about energy. We are energy beings in form. So then there's tools for how may I enhance my physical energy, my mental energy, my emotional energy, my spirit energy in the world. Me, uniquely me. And so then I get to know those tools. And it's my call when I take that or not. And then black is art of creativity, and it's about playing with everything that came before and a very creative process. And it's seeing and celebrating everybody as creative masters. And it is playful and fantastic and fun, and talk about inspiring. It is just wonderful to share.
Exactly. And you know, one way to talk about progress, so many different ways, but one way to talk about progress is also to see how, you know, the practice and life they they intermingle. It's like, oh, I see how my movement practice feeds my living, my life also.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness, yes.
Mm.
I had a sister, I'm the baby of 5 girls. And when I took my white belt in 91, I became a trainer in 97. And I told my family, I didn't say a lot about what Nia was, but they saw me changing. They felt me changing. And they didn't ask me a lot of questions. They just celebrated that I loved what I was doing. Well, my middle sister, who I was like her baby, when I became a trainer and I did my very first white belt, February of 97, she called me up and she goes, Winalee, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what Nia is, but I love seeing how you've grown and changed. I'm signing up for your training. She took my very first white belt and she knew nothing about it. She just knew she needed to be there and support me. It was just a gift. It was such a gift. So what was outwardly sensed and felt, I was being more vertical in the world. I wasn't
Mm.
projecting. I was taking ownership. I felt better about me. I was more grounded in the now, and that's what she sensed of me, and she wanted to have what I was having.
Yes. Winalee, I have another series of questions, or one question really. This is on a different note altogether.
Sure. Hmm.
So let's imagine that you have a student comes to you, says, Winalee, I feel kind of bored. I feel that my practice has plateaued. I feel like there's stagnation. I used to feel all of these different sensations and excitement, but now I just kind of, it's the same. What would you tell that kind of a person? Like, how does one find refreshed energy in something with which one has lived for a while? Like a practice that, especially for example, if I practice every day, how do I keep my connection to this practice alive?
I always love to invite people to bring their own focus and intent.
Uh-huh.
Every class has a focus and intent, and sometimes the focus and intent is works for another, and sometimes people need their own infusion. The focus and intent is brilliant. Today we're going to focus on the feet in order to really ground and center. Great, and weave it through. And that's a practice for teachers to really nail that and connect it and carry it through. And that brilliance, it is absolutely brilliant. I've never taught anything that used that. And that focus keeps me in the now, and I keep weaving it through. So to turn that over to another, what do you want to focus on today? And what is the why? What is your intent? What will you receive from focusing on that? And offering them the opportunity to weave that through keeps them present. Staying present is the gift. That's a gift.
Mhm. And have you in your lifetime also had these periods where you feel bored by the practice?
I actually, honestly, I have not. I have what I shared with you earlier. I don't like that routine. That's been part of it, but that's preference. That's not boredom. And it was also in my own beliefs. People want blah, 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 that story. And not boredom, though, honestly. With what I taught before, yes. Not with Nia.
Mhm. And Winnie, do you currently have like a goal or a challenge that you are giving to yourself also when it comes to progress? Like, oh, I want to master this now, or now my focus is there.
Well, with trainings, I always super prepared. I'm a prepared girl. I love to be prepared. I've been doing this for a long time. And what I've learned about it is let that go and be present with who shows up. Because guess what? It's never the same based on who's in the room.
Mhm.
Never the same. The foundation, the material is there, that still gets delivered, but the way in which it flows is unique based on who's in the room. And that's the gift of sustaining a practice of sharing trainings over the years, is it's always that's present so that it may morph in a new way.
I think that's very important for teachers of anything really. This real connection to the present moment.
And one of the best focuses for me in our times, turbulent times, man, breathe, 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 breath, breath, breath. And wow, that's what got me into that. My tears, my first knee experience, I held my breath a lot. And I was tense and breathing and moving our spine, man. Dr. Deb Kern, she's one of my dear friends, and she speaks on the circuit, and she's authored books, and she's a Nia black belt, and she has taught at big conferences, and her focus and intent is always, we're going to move, breathe, we're going to move our spine, breathe, and have fun. Move our spine, breathe, and have fun. That's always what she uses. And it's profound. And she weaves that through the whole time. And for me, that movement that I showed you of what I'd never moved like that before, that was different. That ignited so much issue in my tissue. You know, Candace Pert's work of the core, I had so much held there of pretense and blah, blah, story, 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 and just freed it, totally freed it over years. It show up again till I work a little deeper with it, and till I just now can enter. This is me doesn't mean all align with me at all, and that's okay. That's so okay. We're all unique beings.
Winalee has a question maybe to move toward the end of the interview. Let me ask your spontaneous response to this question. What does it mean to you to dance through life? It's a phrase people use very often, like, oh, dance through life. What does it mean to you today, this idea of dancing through life, the practice of dancing through life?
To truly be present with whatever is and to breathe with it. I recently had some pretty intense times, and to ask for help when that happens and receive it and breathe and be present with it. And wow, asking for help is just profoundly life-changing. And I'm really grateful for that.
There's progress also.
Mm-hmm.
Winalee, I was very moved by this interview. I think that's one of your special gifts also as a teacher and as a person, is to bring all this emotional brilliance to the spaces, also really the way in which you honor authenticity and emotional expression. So I felt that in the interview also very strongly.
Thank
Art dance is very special for you. It's not a coincidence, that not a random thing that you have named your practice like this too, or your space. Winalee, is there something you want to say at the end? Something I didn't ask you, or something that you want to highlight again? Anything?
you. I think I'll simply come full circle back to the uniqueness of each one of us. I'm so honored to be on the earth at this time, and this earth body and my spirit. Remember, we are members of this earth. And it's a privilege to be here right now. And as I see others, I simply want to be in that remembering team together and hold each other and be a part of transformation. And I believe in it. I think it's exciting times. I feel this attention to beauty right now so that we can all help each other remember the light and not get pulled to the darkness and pull each other up. I think that's what we do in Nia all the time. All the time, just hold each other. Having a space people can cry and not have to tell a story about it, just let themselves cry and feel to heal. That's a gift.
A gift. It's another way to measure progress also. To be authentic and to let the feelings come out also, and not to be afraid. And well, Winalee, thank you so much. And tell us where we can find you and how we can attend your classes.
My website is Winalee Zeeb, Zeeb. Winalee is Winalee, Zeeb.com. And I do teach on Zoom still, and am set up on Zoom. And I also teach yoga. I call it yoga play. It's a gentle yoga. It's very much Nia flow yoga. And I teach melt. I'm not doing melt on Zoom right now. I do private Zooms with it, melt roller and the soft balls for hand and foot for our connective tissue. It's phenomenal work. Sue Hitzman's work is wonderful. And so that's where all my info is, and my trainings with Nia too.
Yes. And I'll put
Thank you for having me.
absolutely, Winalee. You're welcome to come back anytime. We'll find another. I already have ideas for other topics also that you mentioned. And
I love connection. My email, winaleez@nianow.com. I love connection. I was so excited to get Hie's email. We have not connected in a long time, so
yeah.
it's
But I
just
do your routines. I dance with you when you don't know that I'm dancing.
good,
I
good,
can
good,
do
good,
the
good.
routines. I hear your voice. So. Nia, this is another shout out also for Nia Now and Nia On Demand. So you can find Winalee in these Nia routines there also
Hmm.
and subscribe and do the trainings and discover the beautiful practices. I was very moved by the way in which you describe beauty also because my first experience with Nia was that of, oh, I feel so beautiful when I move.
Yeah.
The beauty
Yep.
is also the beauty, finding the feeling, feeling the beauty of our own movements, I think is very beautiful. It's very healing and important also, especially I think we need to revise some of our or add these meanings of beauty to our vocabulary also. Feeling beautiful as we move.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, Winalee, for a really touching and great interview. And so we welcome your comments. Also, leave us comments. Tell us what you felt and thought about this interview and what progress means for you, and especially these different ways of measuring progress that wouldn't even occur to us, maybe. And then like and then subscribe to the channel so that you will stay in touch with the next episodes.
Mhm.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Emily, so much.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.